So we have breaking news. Representative Ilhan Omar, the Somali representative from out of Minnesota, was just attacked. A lot of people are saying it's staged. A lot of people are saying it is a distraction from all the fraud investigations and allegations going on with her. Let us take a look and see what people are saying.
Of the agency. ICE cannot be reformed. It cannot be rehabilitated. We must abolish ICE for good. And DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment. I don't know.
So as you can see, Representative Ilhan Omar was doing a press conference. Someone was in the audience, got up, sprayed something onto her. A lot of people are saying that it's staged. A lot of people are saying she's trying to create one of those Donald Trump moments when Donald Trump got shot at in Butler, Pennsylvania. Remember, the president got up and he raised his fist and he yelled, "Fight, fight, fight," and he went on to win the election. People are saying she's trying to create one of those moments to essentially distract from all the allegations, all the scrutiny she's under. Because remember, she's under investigation for allegedly marrying her brother, and she's also under investigation as well because one year she was in debt and the next year she was worth millions of dollars. Take a look at this reporting.
Investigation after racking up millions while she was in Congress. Senior national correspondent Kevin Cork has it. What's up, Kevin?
Good to see you, my friend. What's the old saying? Follow the money? Well, that's precisely what the House Oversight Committee is doing. They are probing squad member Ilhan Omar's skyrocketing family wealth, Jesse, especially in the wake of that $9 billion, some would argue $19 billion, Somali social services fraud scandal that exploded in her district in Minnesota. The oversight chair, James Comer, says his team's lawyers are exploring the extraordinary step of subpoenaing Omar's spouse over his curious business practices. Republicans want to know how the Somali-born Omar and her politically connected husband, Tim Minette, went from being nearly broke to being worth around $30 million in just a year, according to her 2024 disclosure forms. Quoting Comer now, there are a lot of questions as to how her husband accumulated so much wealth over the past 2 years. It's not possible. It's not. And he's a money guy. Minette and his partner, Will Haler, back in 2022, formed an investment firm, Jesse, named Rose Lake Capital. They had $42 in their bank account at the time, but in a year, up to $25 million, according to Omar's filing. By the way, he also has a wine business that went from next to nothing to millions on its books. Not surprisingly, associates were so perplexed about the irregularities, they brought information and attention to the feds to, look into it. Now, for her part, the Congresswoman has repeatedly, and I say defiantly, denied any wrong.
So it just doesn't make sense how before a politician run for office, they're worth $0. They have zero business experiences, zero investment experiences. But after a while, them and their family just becomes rich all of a sudden. It just doesn't make sense. You can see the same thing with Nancy Pelosi and her husband. They go into Congress, they're worth nothing, and then they get rich all of a sudden. You're seeing the same thing with Representative Ilhan Omar. Because remember, she didn't run a business before she went into Congress. And all of a sudden, in the space of a year, she was worth $42. And in the space of a year, she's worth, what, $25 million? That is a lot. I would like to know what she's doing. I would like to essentially mentor under her to essentially figure out her business expertise. But at the same time, if it's fraud, which she's being alleged of being involved in, then I do not want to partake into that. Here's Benny Johnson, who investigated her finances, and take a look what he found.
I just investigated Ilhan Omar's official financial disclosures, and what I found was so dark and criminal. I don't know how she gets out of this without going to jail. Have a look at this. Here's Ilhan Omar's financial disclosure from the Congressional Record, year 2023. I want to bring your attention to this company right down here, Est Crew LLC. This is a winery in Santa Rosa, California. It's not doing that well. The total value of the winery is listed at $15,000, and Ilhan Omar's barely making any money off of it at all. Hardly enough to pay a parking ticket. Okay, that's fine. Nothing really mysterious there. Businesses fail all the time. But go ahead and look at her filing for 2024, and you'll find that Est Crew Winery, the same company in the same location, is now worth $5 million. That's incredible, up from $15,000. And now Ilhan Omar's making enough to pay rent. So this must be one of the most successful companies ever. Let's go ahead and check in on this winery. You know, maybe we could buy some wine. I like wine. Why not? Let's see if we can buy some Est Crew Winery. Here's Est Crew's social media Facebook page.
Yeah, it is just weird. It is just odd how a company goes from essentially being worth $15,000 to being worth, what, $5 million in the space of a year. And the income that they're making is just not that much. So where does this valuation comes from? This needs to be investigated, and if there's wrongdoing, she needs to be held accountable. Because she's the one that's always essentially saying tax the rich. She's the one that's always saying she wants America to be a socialist country when she's taking full advantage of a capitalist structure. And Bennett Johnson went on to investigate the business even more to figure out what products they have to see if he can order anything online. And here's Newsmax explaining those findings.
Why does a Muslim own an alcohol company? I thought that wasn't a thing in Islam. Anyway, it gets weirder. Up until yesterday, Benny Johnson was able to find their supposed inventory bottles and all the things they had, their office location, and a bunch of other information on the business. But as of today, those sites are totally shut down, and any mention of their website has been wiped off the internet. I'm talking gone. The Wayback Machine, all these other crafty little archive sites, everything is gone. Like deleted the root service. I called my computer buddy Jim. He couldn't even find it. It was some fancy AR jargon bot machine for recovery. I don't even know, he was explaining it to me. He couldn't even find it, which is weird that a company that boasted an award-winning wine, the quote double gold winner in 2022 San Fran Chronicle competition, with a corporate value of up to $5 million, would just vanish into thin air. They didn't sell it.
There's just definitely something odd about this business itself and, her, conveniently getting attacked or allegedly being attacked by this individual spraying something onto her. It is just odd how essentially after Bennett Johnson investigated her business or her husband's business, it essentially went down overnight. It kind of reminds me of that moment when, Nick Shirley went to Minnesota. He found a Lerin daycare center, and he found this one guy who essentially, was committing daycare fraud allegedly. And the next day he did a press conference and he said someone stole into his daycare and stole all the papers, all the documents, everything except for the valuables. Take a look as a reminder.
Yesterday morning, I was called by the owner because unfortunately someone came in to our daycare. We looked and saw what happened, and we saw that the suspect came in from the back, broke in from the back kitchen, and he also destroyed the wall to come in. As we walked around the daycare, we saw that our office doors was broken into as well. We saw that, unfortunately, there was important documentation, enrollment of the children, and also employee documentation that was gone. There were also checkbooks that were ripped from check papers that were ripped from our book. This is devastating news.
Yeah, it is just convenient that after the fraud has been uncovered, your daycare got broken into. It is just convenient that after this investigation into Ilhan Omar for allegedly marrying her brother for alleged fraud, everyone's looking into her businesses and everything like that, her and her husband for fraud. It is just convenient how she allegedly got attacked by this individual. And if you go over to CNN, what they're trying to do over at CNN, they're essentially trying to blame Donald Trump for this attack. Take a look at this exchange between Scott Jennings and Caitlin Collins.
Just tonight, the president was speaking in Iowa, Scott, and he went after Congresswoman Omar, and as Axe noted, was saying that there's a DOJ investigation into her, which the New York Times says was opened under Biden, appears to have stalled. I mean, given the president's very personal attacks on her, do you think he should tone those down in light of actions like tonight?
Look, she's made a lot of attacks on him, too. I think the correct answer at this moment would be to condemn political violence, condemn political intimidation. I don't expect Donald Trump or Ilhan Omar, either one, are going to cease attacking each other in very stark terms. But you can do that and say, we're going to have a sharp debate and we're going to throw sharp elbows here in politics, but that does not include political violence and it does not include political intimidation. That would be the correct response tonight.
I mean,
so let me start off by saying political violence is wrong. People shouldn't be targeted because of their political views or anything like that. But if this attack is real, this alleged attack, if it is real, you can make the argument that Ilhan Omar, she's the one that brought that onto herself because, for one, she's the one that's been turning up the rhetoric, the political rhetoric. She's out there calling people Nazi, calling them white supremacists, calling them all types of names. And CNN needs to tell her to tone down the rhetoric. Because remember, after the shooting of Charlie Kirk, after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, she went on CNN and remember what she said. This is what she said. Take a look.
I just think it was the video where it called him Dr. Frankenstein and said his monster shot him through the neck. I mean, obviously this is a person, and looking at this is someone who was a husband and a father, and in the days after his shocking death, that happened as a result of his views, or it happened as a result as he was sharing his views publicly with people, that people found it jarring to hear such criticism of that in the immediate aftermath of
what
death.
I find jarring is that there's so many people willing to excuse the most reprehensible things that he said, that they agree with that they're willing to have monuments for him, that they want to create a day to honor him, and that they want to produce resolutions in the House of Congress honoring his life and legacy. It is one thing to care about his life because obviously so many people loved him, including his children and wife. But I am not going to sit here and be judged for not wanting to honor any legacy this man has left behind. That should be in the dustbin of history, and we should hopefully move on and forget the hate that he spewed every single day.
See, which is why whenever there's any types of political violence, you should go out there and you should condemn those actions. Whenever you go on CNN and you say things like these, and then you go on other platforms and you call ICE Nazi, you call them Gestapo, you call the president a white supremacist and all different types of names, guess what? You're fueling that rhetoric. And we know the left is crazy right now. They're out there, they're rioting, they're causing violence, they're assassinating people, they're doing a whole bunch of different things. Whenever you cannot get up there as an elected official to say, well, you know, these types of actions are wrong, these types of behaviors are wrong, then you have results like these where now, you know, everyone is being attacked, which should not be a thing in this country. This is America. This is not a third world country. So that brings us to the end of today's video. Please let me know in the comments if you think this alleged attack was staged or if you think it's something that is legitimate. Also, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel.